If you enjoy getting certifications, go for it. Only learn the grammar if you do have opportunities to speak. They might help you get the interview. The more expensive trainings are not necessarily better. Hi, I'm Carsten from Hacking Matters, where each week we discuss the opportunities in cybersecurity. Today we're diving into security certifications, a growing part of our industry. Are certifications the right fit for everyone? Who needs what type of certification? You'll hear my view on those in the next few minutes. One question often asked to me is, how do I become a security professional? Certification should not be the only answer. The other two very important elements are education on cyber topics, as well as hands-on experience. How they differ and how they should come together to develop skills is what we want to discuss today. Diving into certifications. There are generally three reasons why people would want to get certifications. Either to gain knowledge about cyber topics, that's their main purpose, but then also maybe a more hidden purpose to signal to perhaps future employers that they are fit, that they know what they're doing, and finally for personal achievement. Let's get that one out of the way. If you enjoy getting certifications, go for it, right? Don't listen to me or anyone telling you otherwise. If it's fun to gain these achievements, like you're running a race and you get the 5K mark and the 10K mark, and finally you run a marathon, that's really your enjoyment, and you get these other benefits, the signaling to future employers and the gaining of knowledge, kind of piggybacking as a little extra. But if you're mostly in for either of these other reasons, let's perhaps first speak about signaling, which I think is overemphasized. I'm an employer and I hire a lot more than I'm employing because I'm also a consultant and I help other companies staff their teams. I've hired several hundred security professionals and had to do, of course, thousands of interviews to get there. Certifications rarely come up during these interviews. They might help you get the interview. The recruitment specialists curating those lists of who makes it to the next stage, they often look at signals like certifications. But then in the actual interview, what matters is the actual skills and the actual knowledge that you have. And it doesn't matter where that came from. Certifications could be one of the ways you gain skills and knowledge, but certainly not the only ones. So don't get certifications just to land a better job. That's not going to work if you're not also developing the skills that the certification suggests you might have. Let's get deeper into a certification journey and perhaps first distinguish two relatively different journeys. One, I would want to call more around security processes, organizational knowledge on how to keep an organization compliant and secure. And then a separate stream on hacking skills, how to break into technology, hopefully with the goal of keeping companies secure, but with the same skills, of course, that criminals also use. Let's first look at certifications around security processes. These certifications are a great starting point to give you structure, to basically introduce you to frameworks that help you structure complex topics. And security, of course, is a very complex topic. It's basically the equivalent of learning a grammar in a language. The structure. But just knowing the grammar doesn't really help you speak fluently. That takes a lot more practice. And in fact, you would probably start by speaking in the wrong grammar, but at least communicate to some extent and then learn the grammar later. And the same is true with these certifications. You need the fluency to some extent first. You need some hands-on experience before you go into the certification to understand what these frameworks are applied to. And then you need hands-on experience coming out of the certification to apply that knowledge so it doesn't go stale. So a certification should sit in the middle of a hands-on experience journey. Don't learn how to skydive if you only ever stay on the ground. Some certifications already take this into consideration. For instance, the CISSP certification is only really open to professionals who come with a number of years of experience, basically saying you should first be fluent and then we help you get the grammar right, give you those additional frameworks. While CISSP makes that a requirement, I think this should be your base guidance for all certifications. Gain some experience, do the certification, and then apply what you learned. If you do want to get multiple certifications, don't do them back to back, but always allow yourself to apply the additional knowledge first so it can mature in you. So we're really looking at a cycle of learning and applying and learning and applying. And applying phase to me is the more important one. So if you're in a knowledge-rich environment where just by looking at how other people do stuff, you might get the same benefits that a certification helps you achieve, seeing that structure, seeing how other people apply their knowledge. Only learn the grammar if you do have opportunities to speak. Let's turn to the second large branch of certifications, the ones around hacking skills. Those skills are complementary to the process skills we learned about earlier. Optimally, of course, as a security professional, you would understand both sides, how companies protect themselves, but also how criminals break in. But there's plenty of specialists who only focus on the breaking in part, pen testers, red teamers, and so forth. Here too, we have certifications that can amplify your hands-on experience, but can rarely replace them. To become a skilled hacker, your first step is not a certification, but rather to gain some hands-on experience with hacking challenges, with opening boxes, like in Hack the Box. You want to test first how far you can go in the easiest levels. Then probably educate yourself with some basic skills like scripting or some programming. Pick up some programming language that allows you to at least understand other people's security tools and modify them slightly for your purposes. Only once you have that first level of fluency, the ability to speak in that new language, do you again turn to certification to learn about the grammar. And one excellent certification in this realm is OSCP. But here too, most people would think that you need at least a year of testing experience before you should even tackle OSCP, because it certifies that you have skills that the certification itself doesn't necessarily teach you, but that it just validates. On balance, it's easier to go through the second branch of developing hacking skills as opposed to the first branch of developing security process knowledge. And that's because there are such good educational resources, these boxes, these hacking challenges on the internet that you can play around with without being in the industry yet. Whereas the security process knowledge, really, it is that chicken and egg problem that you would need to be inside a company, seeing these real world problems to appreciate what all that educational material is trying to teach you in the first place. So it's harder to break into that industry. Cost can be one of the factors in you choosing a security certification, because the range of prices is shockingly large. From free or very low price resources that still can give you a lot of insights and knowledge, to on-site trainings, 5 days, $10,000 that are way too high for almost anyone trying to get into the industry. Good midpoint choices are trainings that are mostly online. For instance, Google has a range of beginner-friendly trainings that are economically accessible to most people. One step up from that would be the OSCP, which does cost in the thousands of dollars, but is only meant for security professionals who have already gained that knowledge over the course of a year or more. So it is really the end of a longer journey where you've invested a lot of time, and then they ask you to invest a little bit of money as well. There are other choices around those, but price does not correlate with quality here. The more expensive trainings are not necessarily better, especially now that we have so much free educational resources on YouTube and other places. In summary, if you want to be a security professional or an ethical hacker, your starting point is not a certification, but some level of hands-on experience. On the ethical hacking side, there would be hacking challenges and opening boxes. On the security process side, it would be more case studies, or if you're lucky enough to already be in the industry, speaking with your colleagues, checking in on their experience, starting to work on some of these projects in a junior position. Only once you have touched the subject matter does it make sense for you to learn the grammar, for you to learn those frameworks, and to go through the certification process, which, if it's a good certification, will really validate what you already knew rather than teaching you a lot more, because that you learn in the hands-on part of those certification hands-on cycles. So there you have it, how to become a security professional by sometimes using certifications, but also keeping that in a good mix with other education on programming languages, things you can learn at university, and most importantly, hands-on experience. Do stuff to learn from rather than theorizing about what you could have done. These thoughts hopefully help you decide between security certification and hands-on experience and how to bring them best together. If they do, show it through a like and subscribe. And if you're interested in more of this content, look at our videos around the security teams, basically describing the different roles that you could be working on once you are going down that path on the corporate side, or our video on red teaming, describing basically what an ethical hacker does when breaking into companies. Either way, I look forward to seeing you next time, and until then, happy hacking.